Hello, my name's Darren with Darren's Family Gaming, and I'm here to give you some tips and tricks on building. So what we have right here is my current house. Usually when I go into building mode, I'll find either a chair or a bed and just throw my shark in there. A bed's probably preferable. This way you at least still make a couple of dollars during the night cycle. So I'll just kind of go over some of the things that I did here. Barriers are a big part of what I use, and like this is a pirate house. What I have right here, this black wall, this is a couple of barriers. And sometimes the hardest thing with barriers is getting them to fit the way you like them. And so we'll be going over some of that. So we'll just go ahead and open up the buy menu right now, go to your stuff. Now the way barriers work is they do like a perpendicular intersection on whatever they're touching. So as you can see, and you can tell it's touching based off where the drag marker is. So we're touching the floor right now. If we wanted to say touch the wall, you can see it'll, there we go. You can see it's touching the wall now, and so now we got this. And then what you do is kind of turn it and drag it. Now the cool thing is, depending on what you're doing, like let's say I wanted a barrier like halfway up in the middle here. Obviously you can't just make it float there, but you can make your barriers connect to other barriers. So we can grab another barrier here and we can just go, hey, I want this, you know, maybe like right here. And then what you do, because once you put it down, you can always just resell it for full price. And then so now you have a barrier here that you couldn't have before. And the cool thing is, the way these work is it's very similar to, I mean, even like the other good things are the simple shapes. Like how I did this wall here. As you can see, I have a barrier on the side there. I have a barrier on the side here. This is just touching the floor. This one's touching the ceiling. But this middle one here, you're thinking, oh, it's touching the door. But you can't place it on a door. So what I did is, if you use two small blocks, it's roughly the same size as a door. And then you can put your barrier on top of that. There is a slight gap if you look closely. If I can kind of turn it. Yeah, you can kind of see the lines of the floor back there. So it's, yeah, you can, there, that's kind of easier to see it now. So you can just see there's a slight gap right there. But yeah, building barriers and building blocks on top of other blocks and then just removing them is a way you can get a lot of cool stuff done. And it's also a way, like let's say hypothetically, I should probably, did I sell that barrier? Okay, I did. Cool. So like let's say I wanted a barrier. Let's go back to our barriers. I wish the barriers were in the simple shapes. So let's say I wanted a barrier halfway between this wall and this wall. Like how would we do that, you know? It's like, oh, I can't really get close to the wall. I can't go through it. I'm trying to, and it just stops. And what you do is you can either use one barrier, and check this out. We can put it like right here. Maybe that's halfway for us. I don't know. But then we get our other barrier, and then look at this. We can attach it here, and it's not quite halfway, so we're gonna move it back over here. And we can move it wherever we want. And then now, yeah, it looks halfway to me. And then we delete this. So now we have a barrier that's half and half. It's something we couldn't do before, but since you can put them on other barriers. So this just allows us for so much more building, which makes it pretty amazing. So like this whole wall right here, this is all barriers. You know, I got a barrier here, barrier here. And the cool thing too is, like if you see on this one, if I do a barrier there and a barrier on the roof, they will, yeah, okay, you can see they overlap. Well, that's different right there. Oh, I know what it is probably. It's because I got rugs in the roof. Rugs are another good one. I'll get back to you on that one. But that's probably why it's not lining up the way it should. That'd be my guess. Alright, there, now it's lining up. Maybe it had nothing to do with the rugs. Alright, so you can see when you do two barriers together, they are seamless. There's no space or nothing, even though they overlap each other. And we can really show this off by doing like an orange. So yeah, you can see when they're different colors, you can tell the overlap. So it's always good if you overlap your barriers to make them the same color. But the cool thing about doing it this way, where it's attaching, you have to attach it somewhere, because the barriers, although you can attach them to the side, you can't attach them to the small end. Like if you look here, I can't get it to attach there. And there are some ways around that, and we will go through and show you those. So we'll come with me to the outside. We're gonna go this route. I have a little secret up here, which I will share with everybody now. I guess we can stop editing and then sit through here. Okay, so this is my outside. I got kind of like a little thing in there, so you won't be able to see what it is just yet. So let's say we want to do a 2-stack. As you can see, my walls here, they're twice as high. So let's say we want to do a 2-stack. So we got one here, and what we'll do is we'll put another one next to it, right there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get another one right there, so just so we can climb up it. Alright, so what you'll want to do, it's kind of hard to see at nighttime. It should be daytime in, let me check my clock here, in about 20 seconds it'll be daytime. So as you can see, this block is just right on this block. It's not through it. We want it to be halfway through it, so we're going to try pushing it a little bit more. So it doesn't matter what side. So now we got it on that side here. So you can see how it's halfway in between. And now it's easier to see that it's daytime. We can even put it back on this way and that way. So it's halfway in between, alright? So now that you have it halfway in between, now what you can do, because you can set them on the very edge of these barriers. So we can put it right here on the edge. And you're like, oh no, there's a gap, but... You can climb up here. Oh, there's a gap, but if you finesse it just right, like that, it'll set up there. Then you can delete this barrier, or, you know, move it down to the next area here. This way you can get another barrier wall and do the exact same thing. We didn't really pay too much attention and put it close to the edge, but you can see that's how you get a double stack, which is really nice. Now you'll have to do the same thing for when you do your roofs. The roofs you can obviously just do something like this at first, but actually I think I might have some roofs that I need to do. So we'll sell out these real quick, and we'll check the roof of this white build or gray building here. So let me stop editing, and we'll pull out our favorite toys. Oh no, I already cleaned them all up. Okay, that's good. But that is some ways you'd build with this. Now the next thing you want to do, after you do your barriers, edit my house here. Alright, so the next thing you do, so you can see in this room, I got the floor with the right tiles and the walls are all black. And you might say, oh, that's not hard. When you go to edit house, you can just change your walls to whatever you want. Yep, but it doesn't do the ceiling. So you can see the ceiling's got, if I click on the ceiling, it's got different items there. So what you want to do for that is you use rugs. Now, rugs are really cool because they're cheap. And you just use this basic rug here, and it's a nice flat color. And you can change it to whatever you want. So like my walls, I did black. But what you want to be careful with is, once again, the placement of your rug. So like, if you look at the movement indicator here, if that's on the floor, it's going to be the same level as this rug. If this movement indicator is on top of this rug, now you're going to have 2 layers of rugs, and it's going to look bad. So even if I change this to the same color, I don't even remember what color it was. I think, no. We'll just do these. They're going to have that shadow outline, and it's going to look tacky. But if you did it this way, now you don't have that shadow outline, and it's nice and smooth. So you'll see some people, when they build houses, they they struggle. They have a hard time, and then you'll see a lot of layers overlapped, and it's just not pretty. But this is one way you can kind of do some cool things with it. And so what we'll do too is we'll head down into my basement here. Let's see, 10 minutes. We got about a few minutes left. So I got like an escape the jail that I'm kind of doing here. And what we'll want to do is sit through here. This section of the house is unfinished, so proceed with caution. So I got this underground dungeon type thing. And I made everything. I wish they had like darker grays, but I couldn't find any. All their grays are kind of light. So I have this really dark teal, dark green, blue, something like that. And then I have the ceiling as black. See, this is one of the overlapping areas that... What I'll probably do for that is do bricks. Because that's annoying right there. That does not look pretty at all. So here's another way to hide some stuff like that if you have it. Bricks. Bricks are an amazing tool. Get a brick, and you can put the brick like this, right? Get another brick. Put the brick like this. And what I'm going to do, so if I would do it this way, it won't matter here, but if I do it this way, and then I put my next brick over here, inside there, and rotate it, sometimes, depending on how thin this other wall is, it might show through this way. So a lot of the times what I'll do is, when I put my bricks down, I start at the edges on both of them. This way they're right on the wall. And then my last piece I just put in the middle. This way the middle one overlaps. And then what we'll do is we'll paint these black, much like how we have this other bricks black. And this will kind of give a nice little border with the ceiling. Probably, and then we're going to have to paint this black too. We could paint that black right now probably. There we go. So that looks pretty good. So one of the cool things you can do here also, you can see this looks pretty tacky. There's not a lot of detail. So one of the cool things I saw from another house is they use chopping blocks as like walking stones, step stones. But I think it looks like a really cool brick. So just like putting it on the side of the house here and changing it to a gray. Did I do a light gray? No. You want to match the grays. That looks pretty good. Yeah, they're a little expensive, but I mean, just the extra detail that adds, it really makes it, you know, look brick-like. You don't even have to add a whole lot. Like this wall, I might add one or two more down here. So, what is this? 1, 2, 3. 3 of these will, you know, have 5 chopping blocks. But it just adds a little bit extra detail, which is really nice, and it'll help people get immersive. The other thing I saw someone else do is plates. Plate. And using those as like rocks or stepping stones also. So you kind of put them next to each other. Just variously different sizes. For this one, you might also want to use what do they call it? The small placement grid. This way you can kind of get them tucked in there nice and neat and kind of have them nice and random. And you can do a whole path this way. I don't think it's going to work too well in this dungeon I have, but doing like little path rockways are always really fun to your house if you have something on the outside. So I think that's pretty neat. We're going to continue to go through here. There's another thing I want to go over. So I have a little obby here people can climb out of. Oops. I might have fallen off completely. So this is a fun little escape the jail. So the last thing I want to go over, I'm working on a cave thing here. Now, unfortunately, they only have one type of rock. But as you can see, the multiple layers of the rocks here, they're not all the same layer. And essentially what I did for that, we'll do that real quick. Barriers right here. So you have a barrier here. Then we'll grab a rock. And we just put the rock on the ceiling, right? Okay, now what? Well, now you can raise the barrier up one more, right? And you can put this one on there. So now you have multiple level rocks, and then maybe we want to increase it one more. And we'll put another rock right there. And then that we'll say we're all done, we can bring this all the way back down. And whoops, I almost fell through that. Stop editing. Alright, so now you can see it looks more than just like one rock. It's multi-layered. And you can even do this. I like to try and stick with the large placement. This way I can get things to be more even. But obviously with certain things like rocks, how you kind of want them randomly, even randomly random height, you know, using the small grid, you know, might be better, because then you can get even more of a random height level, you know. So you can see it's just barely above that one. And these rocks are cool too, because they have certain flowers on certain angles, so you can rotate them so they don't look so identical. And then, yeah, you have a nice little hanging rock piece here, and it just looks magnificent. Obviously, something like that. Oh, yeah, I got to bring it back down. That's why it looks weird. And then we'll use the large one here. This way it fits perfectly. So yeah. So now you kind of have a large rock. I don't know. I did it upside down because of that, but you could also do it on the ground. You have to be kind of careful doing it on the ground, because you can't really go lower than the ground, so you have to go above the ground. And so you might want to put your bigger rocks, for instance. So if we did the edit, you might want to put your bigger rocks. We'll do it this way real quick. On top. Put it more in the back. And then drop it down one. And maybe put a rock here. And one more here. And then just delete this now. And then you can put a couple of rocks in the ground like this. And so like we got, I don't have a whole lot of money, but we'll just type in rock and get a couple more on the ground here. And then another rock. And then now you kind of have this layered rock. You can rotate them so this way you don't have the flowers in the same position. And it's just a kind of a cool way to do. So that, you know, that looks pretty neat right there. Obviously, if you come back over here, you're gonna have that big gap, and this is kind of stuff you want to kind of be careful of. So there's plenty of other stuff too. What else can we show you? I saw this one. I thought this was really cool. I'm gonna sell these real quick. This is another cool one, and I think it's gonna work out really well for my pirate theme. Maybe we'll just do it right, I don't know, here. Let's see, we'll come over here, yeah. So what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and move this out of the way. We'll get another block. Not a block, a barrier. Alright. And what we'll do, we'll put it so it's on the ground that way, lift it up, another barrier, put this barrier on top. Alright, so I kind of feel like I have to move this whole thing over just a little bit. Well, now I got you in my way. Get out of there. Alright, that looks good. Put this guy back up here. Alright, so what we'll do is do the bird bath. The bird bath has a unique feature. The water actually follows gravity, so if you have it sideways, look at that. You can see it's just dripping out. So you can do like miniature waterfalls, which is kind of cool. What I'll probably end up doing, maybe put this back one more. Put that there, and then what happens if I put this back here? Look at that. So now I have like a running water source coming out of here, and what you could do, get a couple more of these, you know, get them right next to each other, get a lot of water. Maybe one more. Perfect. And then just look at this. So And then what we could do even is, this might not work out as great, but we could do a rug, a basic rug. You know, you could put a rug right there. Maybe put some rocks around it. This kind of give it like a little pool feel. And then probably even, you could even do like a rug here. I don't know if that's probably too much. No, that'll actually work out pretty good. So yeah, 2 rugs like that, and then you just kind of put some rocks around the sides, and then it kind of gives it a nice little, kind of change the color too, make it darker. And that just makes it look really cool, I think. That's probably too much of a blue. That might be the best blue. Maybe that one. But yeah, so it's just kind of a really cool looking feature. I think I got enough for a couple of rocks here. And you'll probably want to put them, what I would do is put the rug in last, right? So you put your rocks in here. You can even push them partially through the area. You'll put one on each side real quick, and we'll rotate them so this way the flowers aren't identical. We'll put this back up here. This probably needs to go a little, oh, gotta get that out of the way, a little bit to the right more. And then yeah, so you can kind of see, and these rocks, they might be a little bit too big, so we might use something else. Maybe some simple shapes. You can even use simple shapes. You know, maybe some disc. So a small disc here. This might be kind of neat. A couple of discs around the edge here. Oh, and we're broke. So that might have to move this over just a little bit. Move this one back over and this one back up and over. So yeah, then you have like a tiny little waterfall here. We can change these to like a darker rock color. And there's probably a bunch of other stuff you can do. Another thing you do too is, you know, put like the plates on top of it, plates on the side, or those, or the plates, $5. I don't have enough for that. But yeah, we can just sell one of these real quick and do, you know, a couple of these little plates here, just to like make it look like they're tiny stones. We'll sell this one too. But there's just all sorts of neat little tricks and ideas you can do, and I think that would look really cool. I'm not 100% set on these cylinder blocks, but the rest of it I think looks pretty good, so I'll probably just keep that there. And then if you want to save some money too, once you're happy with, you know, your water fountain, you can sell these barriers in the back just for your money back. And then, yeah, just look at that. And what I might do, because I think it might be cool to have the water on the whole side, but I really do like the way that water fountain is. But I think that'll do it for, and yeah, another thing you'd want to do too, obviously, because that just looks pretty tacky. You could obviously do more rocks, but I think those rocks stick out a little too much. So what I might do is a couple of bricks, just have them kind of various different angles, and what I'd do is I'd remove this first. But yeah, have some various different angles on here to kind of give it a sharp, rocky look, maybe. You never know. And might even use, oops, that's definitely not where we want it. There we go. You know, just something like that, and then when we put this back in here, looks like it probably goes over more, and we probably, no, we can't go down anymore, so we'd have to bring these up just a little bit. But once again, you'll have to be careful with the layers, because layers are very important. So something like that, move that up there, down over here, and maybe something like that, and then maybe just one more that kind of pokes out over here more. That might be a little bit too much. Yeah, something right there, and then a little bit more up. And right there. There, maybe something like that. And then we can put this back up there and see how that looks. Looks like it kind of comes over. And the one thing to be worried about too, yeah, this looks good and all. This one could probably go in just a little bit more. As you see. That looks good. And this one could probably go out just a little bit more. Something like that. So then it kind of gives it a nice little rocky look. It's not perfect, but... And then once again, you can put plates on there. So... Put a couple of small plates just on here. Plate. Just so it looks rocky, you know. I don't know. That might not be good. I don't know. That... Probably not. That doesn't look too great at all. Maybe the plates are on the side. Maybe not. Maybe not. It's just something you can mess around with. The basic shapes are really what do this. But also knowing how to attach shapes and the different layers, that's something you can definitely add, and it really brings it together. And then there are certain things, like as you can see here, I have white stairs. I can't change these stairs. It's pretty much the roof in the other one. But what you can do is you can put bricks over top the stairs, and you can change the bricks to whatever color you want. So that's a way you can change, you know, certain aspects of it that you can't change normally. It's just by putting it on top of a different layer. But so that'll be it for me. This video ran a little bit longer than I anticipated. We got 26 minutes. So yeah. So as you see here, I just covered everything. Oh, one other thing. A really cool thing about doing layers. I'm gonna move this one. Or doing like the rugs. Certain things make it really difficult to build, right? But with the rugs, you can make it so they block off certain areas like that. So this way, you can still change your color to whatever you want, and you can add to it. Whoops. Let's stop editing and exit home before I accidentally die. But yep, that'll be it for me. Thank you for stopping by. If you liked the video, hit subscribe. I'll continue to try and upload as much as possible. Have a good one. Bye.